Hello everyone, David here and welcome to the 2024 MixbusTv Plugin Awards. In this series I will list my favorite, most used, what I think are the most innovative plugins for each categories: compressors, EQs, saturators, effects, and so on. I'll keep the list short and sweet, but I will also tell you for each plugin why I like them, why I think they're special, and what I use them for. In this video, Best Saturators 2024. Let's go! Hello everyone, welcome back to MixbusTv. Hope you guys are having a great day. Before we start, check the info box down below for free plugin special discounts, offers, and of course links to all the plugins that we are going to see in the video, some of them with discounts code and special Black Friday offers. If you want to book mix and mastering with me, go to the new website MixbusTv.com. In there you will also find all the mix and mastering courses. You can book mix consultations, private lessons, and so on. If you want to access the exclusive videos here on YouTube, click the join button, become a MixbusTv member, get all the perks, and if the videos are helping you, please consider using the super thanks or grab some merch. Let's get to the video. We start with MacDSP tape. And this is controversial because this is actually not really a plugin, is in fact one of the software that controls the MacDSP APB hardware unit. But this thing is so awesome, and since I have the APB, I've been using it so often, and it's very, very impressive. And because we are talking about saturators, I could not make this video and not mention this, because this really is one of my most used. This is probably the closest thing to my Neal 542s. Many people always ask me all the time what plugin can get close to those, and unfortunately plugins can't really get close to it. In fact, again, this is technically hardware, but this does come close. It's actually just a different flavor, just as good as the 242s. I use this on drums a lot, sometimes on tubas as well. It's great on vocals, it's absolutely great on bass, and between the formulas and the 80s, 70s settings, it's actually even more versatile than my 542s. So this is the first one, MacDSP tape. Number two, and this is random order by the way, it's California Dynamic Alkane. I actually discovered this not long ago. I think I did a short video on it, and I really fell in love with this because all four algorithms, we have tape, we have tubes, we have transformers, and we have synth. They all sound really good, really analog vibe, and it has this really cool spectrogram, plus a full parametric EQ and a couple of extras like Dette and Shine that makes it even more versatile. This is such a workhorse saturator that I don't have a favorite elements. This could go anywhere in my mixes. It could be vocals, guitar, snare, kicks, full drum bus. I particularly like it on synth, but this thing is really, really versatile. Number three is D16 Devastator multiband distortion unit. Now, the first two were more, let's say, mixing oriented. And what I mean with that is from subtle saturation and enhancement to two more crunchy settings, maybe for parallel. But the Devastator 2 is more a full-blown distortion unit that I use for special effects. Being multiband and having three filters, this is for me more a tone shaper with distortion capabilities. So I want to say I use this more for sound design. Maybe I start with a simple synth sound and I build a custom sound using this. It also has extended routing, which changes the position of the filters in relationship to where the distortion stage is. You can do all kind of combination. You can put it in serial, in parallel, and everything in between. I really like the Devastator 2 because it's one of those plugins that I can really push into full-blown distortion, and it never sounds wrong. It never sounds harsh. It never sounds nasty. And with digital distortion, that is very, very easy. And the one thing that I really like is the chord distortion and clipping function, which going from left to right is here at the beginning, the preamp and the clipper shape, and especially for smashing drums. And I'm not just talking about acoustic drums, I'm talking about parallel for trap beat or hip hop beat. The dynamics knob, it really allows me to push things hard, but keep them under control so I can tuck them into a parallel. If you're not familiar with this, definitely take a look at Devastator 2. And number four, we have an absolute superstar, Crafter by Sound Theory. Kind of took the market by storm with this multiband and also wideband clipper Crafter. We did the official presentation video of this one, so the full review is on the channel. If you want to hear audio examples for this one, each and every one has a dedicated review here on the channel. Crafter really is one of the best clippers out there. We have a full multiband clipper with all the controls for each individual band, and it has the blind control here, the triangle, that smoothly goes from single band to multiband and dry and wet in all three directions seamlessly. And for me, Crafter primary use, I want to say, is probably mastering, but this is a killer saturator and clipper for groups. So drum bus, any complex material, that what you would use the multiband. So maybe a piano, maybe you have a complex synth patch that has both low end elements and high end elements that you need to either saturate, so applying color, or transparently shaving off a little bit of nominal level to get a better crest factor, to get more density. And to this, I am actually using the new version, the 1.1, which has the following new features. So first of all, we now have a crest factor metering, which is so very welcome. So if I'm pushing this, you can see our CFR. It shows exactly how much Crafter is clipping. The crest factor is the difference between basically the average level of our track and the peaks, right? We have a dedicated, one of the most popular videos here on the channel is about crest factor. So this metering for me is arguably the most important metering in the very extensive metering that was already present on Crafter. We also now have, when we click the match button, an apply to match. So this is a kind of a slow process. It doesn't update, as you can see, every milliseconds, right? So as you change your settings and give it time to reset and recalculate the level match, you can click apply and it will apply the output level to that moment when you clicked the match, right? As you see, if I change settings again, it will now recalculate, and if I click apply, you can see the output level changes, right? And last but not least, with this new version, they improved the accuracy of the filters, which also removed quantization rumble at low levels, which appeared in the previous version. So Crafter got even better, and there's gonna be a special discount for Black Friday. I'm not sure when this video is gonna be released, but the 30% off on Crafter for Black Friday starts November 11th through December 9th. And the link is gonna be in the info box down below. Also, Gulfos Steel from Sound Theory is going to be 40% off in the same period. All the links are going to be in the info box down below. Number 5, we again did the premiere here on the channel some time ago, Schwab Digital Orange Clip. I gotta be honest, when Ryan told me about this plugin, I liked the idea, I was curious, but I would have never imagined that I would use this plugin as much as I do. I love Gold Clip, and it's gonna be in another list, but for the most part for me, Gold Clip is a mastering plugin. That's what I use it 99% of the time. Gold Clip, I can literally throw it everywhere. It's got this specific type of character and the way it saturates and inflates the low end, and it grew on me so much. And while this plugin was very popular for trap and hip-hop beats, I started using it for rock and industrial and metal mixes on vocals in parallel to enhance guitars, because it's got a specific smoothing on the top end, so I can push guitars more, electric distorted guitars, without getting harsh. I can push drums that way, and this is as simple as it gets. I usually just lower the ceiling, decide my knee, how hard I want it, and that's pretty much it. I use this one on long audio events, like bass, for example, just as much as I use it for kick and snare or trance and bass material. And surprise, there's gonna be another version of the Orange Clip soon. Kind of secret, I'm not even sure I could say that, but well, I did it, Ryan, sorry. Number 6, I think, it's Kelvin Tone Shaper by Tone Project. I'm pretty sure this one made the awards last year, but hey, this is a great plugin, and to be completely honest, Tone Project just does not make a bad plugin. It's just everything they make is amazing, like Unisum, Michelangelo, I mean, we're talking about top notch. I look at Kelvin like a Bentley or a Rolls-Royce of saturator. Even though we have several different algorithms and each one is different, they all have this, I don't know, expensive sound to me. They all have this high-end sound to me. So I use this on mastering, and I, for the most part, use this in a subtle way. I don't use this to push things into distortion or crunch a drum kit, not that way. This is more subtle. This is to add grunt to a bass, or an 808, or to add grit to vocals, or to change the tone of my doubles, for example. So it kind of changed the harmonic collection of the material in a subtle way, but it's so rich that even a subtle changes, like for example, if I use this one on doubles for vocals, it's just enough to make it wider. And what I like is that we have 2 stages, so you can pick a more aggressive one at first and a more subtle after, or the other way around. Or for example, some of the algorithm focus more on the top end and some of the algorithm saturates more the low end. So you can combine the two. One thing that I kind of always have on is the defuzz. This one is always either at maximum settings or at mid settings. And you also have a very cool EQ, which looks like a simple 3-band. It is a simple 3-band, 2 shells and a bell. These are by default. You can actually pick whatever shape you want, bell IQ, bell wide for each of the 3 bands. But the one thing that I like is that if you notice, we have 2 sliders, right? So I can decide to apply EQ, whether I'm cutting or boosting pre with the first slider or post. So for example, sometimes it happens, maybe I'm feeding this something that has a big low end, but I like the amount of saturation that I have. So I cut a little bit of low end in pre, so I don't feed the saturation stages too much low end, and then I can compensate after, so I can regain that low end without having to feed that much low end to the distortion, and so it doesn't fold and I can maybe push it more. Number 7, Ozone Exciter Multiband. Again, yes, I know. And as you saw, I had some new entries and will have many new entries in the next episodes for compressors and EQs and plugins that maybe came out this year. Ozone Exciter is still one of my most used, is still one of my favorites. It's kind of a safe place for me. I know it inside out, and I still love all the algorithms that they have. Between the ergonomics, it's so easy to change the frequency and bandwidth. It's so easy to just turn off the bands that I don't use. And it's very often that I use only one band on this one, but it's just so versatile, and to me it sounds really good, especially with the oversampling on. I notice almost all my basses have the exciter on, whether I'm using it just for the low end, so I would do this and just use the low band and add a little bit of triode here just to increase the size of the low end, or to give more intelligibility in the middle, still on bass, right? Instead of EQ on the 1K area, 700 area, especially for like rock basses, right? When you need the bark, instead of turning up the volume or using an EQ, triode is probably my most used algorithm. When I want to be a little more subtle, it's going to be warm or analog. Those are my most used algorithms, but this one is a staple for me and my mixes, and I've been using it forever. Every new version, it gets better, whether it's just a matter of GUI or new algorithm or new functions, but I absolutely love it. Also, you can use it in mid-side, and now we have the transient sustain as well. This is a big thing for me because, again, maybe I have a full drum kit and I want to saturate. I can disengage the saturation and not affect the sustain at all and just affect the snap, or the other way around, right? So it's super, super versatile. I absolutely love this plugin. The next one, I feel bad for not putting it there before or not featuring this plugin enough. And maybe because this plugin is, so to speak, old, has been around forever, but I kind of recently rediscovered it and recently found myself using it back again. You know, because sometimes there's so many new products and we have this fever of the new is better. I want to try it, I want to experiment with it, which is normal. But then you realize, hold on a second, kind of nothing worked like that one plugin that I kind of forgot about it or I stopped using that much. Well, PSP Vintage Warmer is the flagship of this. This plugin has such a musical, warm, euphonic kind of distortion, and the action between the natural compression and the saturation, there's nothing out there that works so fast and so easily, adding density and thickness to the material like PSP Vintage Warmer 2. Because this thing really is a weapon. Not only, but it has a really analog sound. I know, I hate the line too. It sounds like marketing BS, but there's no marketing. This is not a new plugin. It's been around forever, but its color is so thick and creamy that the reason because I'm kind of mad at myself, it's because I kind of chased this sound with other things when I had this and kind of forgot about it. So this has to be coming back and has to be in this list. Even if you just push the drive and compensate for the level of it, you are in a very good spot and thing sounds awesome. It can be used for subtle, but the way I think of this is more like, all right, let's push this thing. Let's make it crunchy. Let's make it colored. Let's round it off. Audiority Pyros, I again think this one was in the last year, but nothing changed. I still used it every mix. I still use it all the time. This might be my go-to and my favorite and the most used for vocal distortion. Whether is insert, whether is in parallel. He's got a ton of different algorithms. So this was the old Abuser. So the original algorithm, aka the Abuser, is the first one. But then we have so many more in this version. And so it has the right amount of options for me to have control, but not too many that I have to spend an hour picking the settings that I want. The one thing that I really like is that it has a 50-50 ratio between algorithms that are full-blown distortion and subtle saturation, like knee, like overflow, like warm. So I have everything. Like if I had to have one, would probably be this one, just because it goes to both extremes. It goes to some algorithms are really light and suitable for enhancement and saturation, and some are like full-blown crazy distortion and ring modulation. But this here, it does have a nemesis. It does have hard competition from United Plugin Cyberdrive. This thing is deep and it's packed and it's extremely well designed. On this one, we have 3 independent stages of saturation that you can turn on and off. Each one you can select look how many algorithms. And the one thing that I like is that they actually divided by type. So we have the classic, you have tube, warm, and then we have the modern, we have shape, we have pixel, amplifier, pedals, doom, freak. So it's well organized. Then we also have a feed module. At the bottom, they basically put almost every effect, extra effect that I could possibly want when I use distortion, whether in insert or in parallel, inside here. We have dynamic, we have 2 tones which you can pick. You can see shelves, bell, high pass, low pass filters. We have modulations effects to make things stereo and wide. We have chorus, flanger, vibrato, phasers, wobble, so many things. And then we have a profile module for cab simulation and space, reverb, reflection, scatter, diffuser, tape delay, and even reverse delay, because actually United Plugin makes a really cool reverse delay that's called mirror. Check it out. And right here you have the routing order and you can change it. Look at this. So this is a lot more tweaky than Pyros, right? But if you want to dig in and have full control and create absolutely crazy, unique kind of distortion effects, this also goes from subtle saturation, and I use that all the time. I turn everything off and I just use one stage, and usually it's going to be one of the classics, just to, you know, the mixing saturation, so to speak, to full-blown sound design using everything that it has on board. So definitely check out Cyberdrive. Last one for this list, and I want to know which one are your favorite saturation plugins in the comments down below. Of course, is Softtube Tape. Again, because it's still one of my most used saturation / tape plugin. I have this on the console one, so many times I don't even open the plugin because I have this in the preamp section of the console one. And let me show it to you. So this is the console one. If I turn on the tape here in the input, this is the core tape, right? Algorithm. But I can actually change my input, and you can see I have tape A, tape B, and tape C. Those are the algorithm that you find in the tape plugin. And I use this all the freaking time, whether it's on the input of my console one or the plugin itself, which I use on so many things. This is a very subtle type of saturation. This is the way I use it, especially, is the most subtle saturation of all. And I usually use on 30 or 15 IPS. B is my most used, is the one that has the big low end. And my starting point is always pushing it so that I'm passing the 0 a little bit right now. Now this is a drum that is going, and I'm around 0 and +3. That's the sweet spot where it helps me with dynamics. So when it start bending a little bit, the peaks, and bending a little bit the tall audio events, so everything is gelled and glued together better. And I think this is it for this video. These were the MixbusTv 2024 plugin awards for the Saturator category. I want to know which one are your favorite Saturator plugins in the comments down below. If you like the video, please don't forget to leave a like. All the links to the plugins are going to be in the info box, including the Black Friday deals. Leave a like, leave a comment. If you want to book mix and mastering with me, go to MixbusTv.com. In there, you can find all the mix and mastering courses and all the other services. If you want to access the exclusive videos here on YouTube, click the join button, become a MixbusTv member, get all the perks, and if the videos are helping you, please consider using the super thanks or grab some merch, support the channel. Thank you for watching, subscribe if you haven't already, stay safe, see you next time.